I thought I was the breadwinner. I didn't know I was the bread they were about to eat. Poverty makes you creative. Some people pray. Some people beg. Some people enter Yahoo. I chose the third one, not because I wanted to, because hunger doesn't listen to Bible verses, because my mother's eyes had grown too hollow and my younger siblings' uniforms too torn, and because every day I came back home empty-handed. My father's silence grew heavier, like he was mourning me while I was still breathing. So I entered the game. Yahoo, wire, format loading, sweet mouth for clients, romance scams, package. At first it was small, a $500 gift card here. A small iTunes hustle there, nothing big, just enough to buy better food, pay the light bill, fix the leaking roof. My family didn't ask where the money came from. They praised me. Our son has found favor. You are our Joseph. You are the one that will lift this family. I believed them, and so I worked harder. 3 years in, I leveled up. No more $500 gift cards, no more small clients. I was closing big fish now, lonely rich widows, divorced sugar mamas. Money poured in like rain. I bought my father a motorcycle. I paid my mother's hospital bills. I sent my siblings to private schools. I even started saving for land. A house of our own away from the leaking ceilings, the moldy walls, the shame. I was the breadwinner, the golden goose. Or so I thought. Then came December. My uncle called from the village. "We must celebrate you! You have brought honor to our name. We must throw a big party." They planned it all, a Thanksgiving ceremony, a feast, a special family cleansing prayer to secure my blessings. It sounded strange. But love can blind you, and I loved them. Blindly. The night before the cleansing, I was housed in my uncle's compound, big house, freshly painted, filled with the smell of pepper soup and palm wine. Family I hadn't seen in years hugged me. Cousins grinned at me. Baba Ijebu. Bala. Big. Man. I felt proud. For the first time in my life, I felt seen. At midnight, they woke me up. My mother stood by the door, face unreadable. "Come, my son. It is time." Still half asleep, I followed them outside. The air was cold. The moon hid behind thick clouds. They led me deep into the bush behind the compound. There, in a clearing lit only by burning torches, I saw them. My father, my mother, my uncle, my siblings, some elders, all wearing white, all barefoot, all chanting something, low and rhythmic. Confused, I turned to my mother. "Mama, what's happening?" She didn't answer. She just smiled, tight, sad, like a woman who loved her son but loved survival more. The oldest elder stepped forward, face wrinkled like old yam, eyes sharp like cutlass. He held a small, sharp knife glinting in the firelight. "You have fed them," he said. "Now it is time for you to feed them fully." I froze. The realization hit me slower than the cold creeping into my bones. I wasn't the guest of honor, I was the sacrifice. The breadwinner, the bread, about to be eaten. I stumbled backward. "Papa? Mama? What is this?" My father looked away. My mother cried, but didn't move. The elders closed in. The chanting grew louder. The shadows danced closer. The knife gleamed brighter. I ran. I didn't wait to hear the rest of the ritual. I didn't wait to see whose hand would draw my blood. I ran through the bush, tearing through thorns and branches, bare feet pounding against rough earth. I ran like my life depended on it, because it did. Behind me, I heard them. Shouts. Footsteps. The chanting still in the air, chasing me like a curse. My own family. The ones I bled for. The ones I fed. The ones who would rather eat me alive than lose their second chance at prosperity. I ran until my lungs burned, until the thorns shredded my skin, until the soles of my feet felt like they were peeling off. But I didn't stop, because stopping meant death. Stopping meant giving them what they wanted, my blood, my soul. The I in village wasn't safe anymore. Not the roads, not the forests, not even the people. Because when your own family decides you're better dead than alive, the whole village becomes one giant hunting ground. At dawn, I collapsed by a dry riverbed, gasping for air, body trembling. I looked back toward the village. Smoke rose from the trees. The faint sound of drums echoed in the morning air. They weren't mourning me. They were celebrating. Because they believed the sacrifice had been made. They believed I was already gone, but I was alive, bruised, bleeding, but alive, and now I had to disappear. I stumbled into the next town, covering myself with a dirty jacket I found hanging on a fence. I needed help, money, safety. But more than that, I needed revenge. Because something inside me had snapped that night. Something that wasn't going to heal with time. I found a cheap cybercafe hidden between two abandoned buildings. Inside, broken fans whirred lazily. A handful of boys with cracked laptops hunched over keyboards. The owner, an old man with grey beards and tribal marks, looked at me once, then looked away. Smart man. In Nigeria, you mind your business, or you die. Curious, I paid for time with my last N500, logged in, and went back to what I knew best, Yahoo. But this time, I wasn't looking for lonely widows or sugar mamas. I was looking for something else, power. The kind of power that couldn't be taken by knives and chance. The kind of power you only find in the darkest corners of the internet. I dove deep. Past the fake loan scams. Past the romance bait sites, into the underbelly of Yahoo, the forbidden networks only whispered about. There I found it. A forum called the Red Market. A place where real spiritual hackers operated. Where men sold not just fake documents, but curses. Digital hexes. Spiritual firewalls. Protection money could never buy. I posted one message. Family betrayal. Need full lock protection. Price. No matter. 5 minutes later, a private message popped up. Username, Midnight Crawler. You survived a blood call. That means you are marked. I can help, but it will cost you more than money. I hesitated. My mind screamed no. My heart whispered yes. Because one thing was certain. If I didn't fight back, I would die. If not today, then tomorrow, or next week, or next year. Because once you escape a sacrifice, you don't get to live. Normal again. They will keep hunting, until either you are dead, or they are. I typed 2 words. I'm ready. The cafe around me buzzed with the dying hum of old computers. But on my screen, the world had already changed. Midnight Crawler sent the next message. Location? I typed fast, fingers shaking. Near Eka Ukwu Market, abandoned warehouse. Alone. Good. Stay there. The spirits are already tracking you. I didn't know if it was paranoia or real, but the air suddenly felt heavier, like 1,000 unseen hands were reaching for me. The screen flickered. Static danced across the monitor. Then a final message appeared. This will hurt. Before I could blink, the room spun. The computer lights melted into black and red blurs, my ears filled with a sound like cracking bones and howling wind. And somewhere deep in that madness, I felt it. Something entered me. Not possession, not madness. A binding. I woke up on the dirty cafe floor minutes later. Alone, but different. I could feel them now. The ones that wanted my blood. The elders. My own father. My mother. Their greed floated in the air like smoke. Their betrayal vibrated against my skin like static electricity. And now, I could touch it, bend it, twist it. I stood up slowly, my shadow stretching long and thin across the broken tiled floor. I wasn't just running anymore, I was hunting too. Later that night, Midnight Crawler sent the final instructions. Go. Back. They are preparing a second sacrifice, but this time, you will be the hunter, not the goat. Back to the village. Back to the same dusty streets. Back to the same faces that used to kiss my feet and now sharpened knives behind their smiles. I didn't go in like a fool. No. I entered quietly. Through the bush. Through the back paths. Only hunters and witches used. The moon above was blood red, a bad omen for them, a good one for me. As I approached the clearing, I saw them, the elders, my father, my mother, my uncle, all dressed in white again, chanting, waiting. Another fire burned in the center of the circle. Beside it, tied up struggling, was my younger brother. My heart stopped. He was screaming. In through a cloth gag, eyes wild, tears streaming, they were sacrificing him. Because the first plan failed, and money must still flow. I stepped into the clearing, calm, cold, changed. The chanting faltered when they saw me. My father gasped. My uncle stumbled back. The eldest elder dropped his staff. Impossible, someone whispered. He was supposed to be dead. I smiled, but it wasn't my usual smile. It was something darker, something earned, something that had clawed its way out of betrayal and fire. I raised my hand. The air twisted. The fire shrank away. The torches flickered and died. The ground itself groaned. The spirits that once chased me now circled them, hungry, angry, waiting for my command. My voice came out low, rough, almost inhuman. You wanted blood. I stepped forward. You wanted a sacrifice. Another step. You forgot that blood can choose its vengeance. They dropped to their knees, begging, tears, snot, wailing. My son, forgive. It was the devil. We were deceived. I looked at my younger brother, still struggling, still crying. I remembered the nights I slept hungry so he could eat. I remembered the years I broke my back just to pay his school fees. And they had repaid me with betrayal, with a knife aimed at my... And now I had a knife too, but mine was spiritual and sharper. The elders knelt before me, shaking like children caught stealing. The same men who once held machetes and chants, who raised goats and sprinkled blood, were now whispering prayers with cracked voices. My son, forgive. Don't let the spirits take us. You are not like us, but they were wrong. I wasn't like them anymore. I was worse, because I had learned betrayal from the best, from the ones who called me savior with one mouth and whispered my death with the other. I raised my hand again. The spirits circled faster, a whirlwind of shadows and cold, ancient whispers. The trees bent inward, the fire dimmed to blue, and the earth began to split. A shallow crack opened in the center of the clearing, not wide, not deep, but enough to show what waited below. A pit, a hungry one. Choose, the spirit whispered in my ear. Its voice was dry, ancient, like dust scraped across bone. They gave, we returned you. Now you must pay balance, balance. That was the word they used. Not justice, not revenge, balance. And balance meant blood for blood. I looked at my father, the man who sat silent while they prepared me for death. He wouldn't meet my eyes. I looked at my uncle, the one who suggested the cleansing. He was mumbling to himself. And then I looked at my mother. She was crying the hardest, not just out of fear, but guilt, real guilt. Her tears weren't for herself. They were for me, and for my brother, still tied to the tree, too shocked to move. The spirits surged. Give or take. You must finish the circle. I stepped forward. They screamed louder. Some tried to run. The spirits blocked them. No escape. Not tonight. But I didn't lift my hand to strike. I dropped the black feather charm in my palm, the one midnight crawler gave me. It hit the ground and vanished like smoke. The spirits paused, confused. So did the earth, so did the wind. I turned to the shadows and whispered, "Take me instead." A silence fell so thick it felt like the world had stopped spinning. My mother gasped. The elders wailed. Even the spirits seemed stunned. But I spoke louder this time. I broke the covenant when I ran. I defied the bloodline. Let the punishment fall on me, not my brother, not the boy who still has light in his eyes. The spirits circled slower, then faster, then stopped. Suddenly the air cleared. The fire reignited, golden and bright. The pit sealed itself, shut, and in the wind, I heard a final whisper. You have passed. You remain, but you do not return unchanged. The spirits were gone. The elders collapsed. The clearing was quiet again. I walked over to my brother, untied him, held him for... The first time in years. He cried into my shoulder like he was 5 years old again. And I felt empty, not broken, not whole, just changed. That night I walked away from the village, not running, not hunted, just walking. And behind me I left everything. The family that betrayed me, the darkness that tried to claim me, the spirits that still watched from the trees. Because once you survive the pit, you don't crawl back into it. You climb out and you never look back.